Hello everyone, it's me, Yammie Noob. I'm here again with you in this space. Come play with me, come play with me. Today I'm going to talk about something a little more serious than our usual shenanigans. I want to talk to you about coming back after crashing your bike. It's a delicate topic for some riders, both current and former, because some people simply just can't do it. Well, I'm here to help you figure out how you can get back on a bike even if you did indeed crash it. So just a reminder, this is only my opinion and nothing here I say is absolute. At the end of the day, only you can judge whether you want to continue riding or not. But if you've been thinking about getting back into riding, then these following tips might help you expedite that process. Before we jump in, I wanted to tell you about how I invested in a startup called Twisted Road that is bringing motorcycle rentals back to the people. Gone are the days of having to go to some stodgy motorcycle rental company only to find whack-ass Harleys or unwieldy BMW GSs. Twisted Road is a peer-to-peer motorcycle rental company that's going to give you the option to rent directly from another person. That means you can rent a sick Yamaha MT-10 with a full exhaust and all that cross-plane goodness, just like I did in Tucson, Arizona, a few weeks ago. With Twisted Road, you're covered by their insurance when you ride, and you can even purchase additional insurance to stay safer. Now the best part, since it's peer-to-peer, the rates are way better and the bikes are way cooler than a normal rental company. Hell, you can even rent my Hayabusa if you're in Austin, Texas. Hit my link down below and get a free day of riding after renting for 2 days or 25% off your first day. And remember guys, I did invest a good chunk of my own change into these guys, so it would mean a lot to me if you click down below and check it out. It helps me, it helps Twisted Road, and I genuinely believe in this great idea. See what's available in your area and rent a new bike and try something out. Now let's get into this. Number one, and the first thing you gotta do is heal and accept. The first part of getting back on the motorcycle is to mentally and physically heal and to accept what has happened. If you were seriously injured in a crash, don't rush your return to riding. Heal. It sucks if you're in a hospital bed, have a splint or a cast, or you can't move as easily as you did before, but you need to heal. Don't just go hopping onto the next bike you can find. Crashes are not easy. It is one of those awful situations where our brain just thinks and overthinks the situations. We tell ourselves, if we only left the house earlier or later, we wouldn't have been going so fast or so slow. If, all this stuff, all these scenarios we run through our heads, we need to accept that it happened. Although it's traumatic for some, we also need to come to terms with what's happened to our bikes. We give them names, bring them in the kitchen during our winter months, and even kiss them goodnight. That's right, for some of us, our bike is our baby, our girl or boy, and is everything. Crashing the bike to the point beyond repair is heartbreaking and hurtful. No one wants to see your R1 or your GSXR with all the fairings ripped off, headlights smashed, and forks twisted. No one wants that for you. What makes it worse is that when we can't accept that our bike, our pride and joy, is now totaled or irreparable, we have to accept that it's just a machine, however intimate we were with it, and it's time to move on to the next one. Number two, analyze footage if you recorded it. So this next one is definitely optional because you can definitely conjure up some PTSD doing it, and one of the only things that applies to people who recorded or were recording during the crash. You can always analyze the footage to see what happened. This helps in a couple ways. First, watching footage might show you something that your eyes missed. Maybe you went down, had no idea why. Maybe you missed an oil puddle or you didn't realize something happened. Second, you can learn from that footage. Find out what happened, why it happened, and use that to learn how you can avoid the same situation in the future. Dan the Fireman has a lot of crash analysis videos, so if you ever crash, recording can really help spot what happened indeed happened. If it's too much for you, you can always skip this step. No pressure here, my dudes. And if you want to check out other people crashing, if you're into that sort of thing and you want to kind of prepare yourself or learn a little bit, do check out Dan's channel because he does put out some pretty cool stuff. Number three, replace your gear. Before you even think about swinging a leg over another motorcycle, once you're healed and mentally ready and physically ready, you need to replace your gear. There's nothing worse than having a scratched or torn piece of gear that you're still wearing to remind you that you crashed. Simply get new gear. It'll mentally help you prepare and get on the next bike. You should without a doubt replace your helmet if you hit the ground with it, which you probably did. If other pieces of gear didn't get damaged during your crash, you can still wear them. Having road rash on a jacket or a set of pads will ruin the item's integrity, so I highly advise you just replace everything. Don't be reminded about the ordeal you just went through and keep moving on in life. It's okay to save or hold on to your old gear. You do you. And also remember to hit up your insurance company because a lot of motorcycle policies have things in place so that you can get reimbursed for the gear that was banged up in the crash. Number four, have a professional look at your bike. In the event that your bike wasn't totaled and that you were going to repair it, I highly recommend having a professional take a look at the bike. The reason being is that even though we're attached to our bikes and can mostly fix a lot of issues that come up if it was a slight low side or something, a professional might see things that are wrong with it that would condemn it. A professional wouldn't condemn your bike for giggles. No, they only do it for safety reasons. Frame specialists can look over and analyze your bike's frame and tell you if the frame is bent, cracked, or has another reason requiring its replacement. Depending on how bad the crash was, you might just be better to walk away from the bike. If you had a low side, there's a really high probability that you can simply replace a few cosmetic parts and be on your way. For crashes where fluids leaked, case covers were cracked open, and parts were physically mangled, you should really have someone take a look at it. It's only going to help you be a safer rider. You don't want issues from a repaired bike from one crash to be the cause of another. Number 5, discuss it with your spouse, significant other, or your family. So I'm not saying that anyone's spouse is controlling or evil if they want to talk to you about getting back on a motorcycle. It's nearly guaranteed that after a crash, your family and friends will probably ask you to stay away from bikes, maybe forever. So this is going to be the most difficult part about getting back on a bike, especially if you don't have the support of others. If it's your hobby, your passion, and your thing, so if your spouse doesn't support you, that's terrible. Now look, I'm not here to give you marital advice, but I will say that you need to consider both sides of the coin here. You want to ride and enjoy it. There's nothing else like it. Your wife also sees you as the father of your children or your sole provider for your household or whatever it may be. I don't know your situation, and almost dying in a crash scared her and the kids almost to death. You should probably seek the help of a family counselor if it's going to affect your marriage or your family life. So my opinion is that if it's your passion, you should be able to do it. If not, it may make you depressed or take away a lot of freedom and enjoyment from your life. This is one of those really tricky, nuanced kinds of things that I feel like I'm not really super well equipped to talk about, so this is something that you got to deal with a bit on your own, but it's something to think about as well. Number 6, and this is probably the most important one, take it easy. When everything is said and done, you're healed, you have a running bike, and you have a new gear and ready to ride, my advice to you, take it easy, dude. Don't start riding in the middle of rush hour, late at night, or in situations that could be a lot of traffic or bad weather. Due to the insanely awkward position of motorcycles, you might start to feel pain or irritation in parts of your body that you didn't feel otherwise. Take your time while riding your bike and while getting accustomed to controls once again. As a quick aside for you guys, after I got back on a bike after one of my wrecks, I realized that I couldn't be leaned over on a sport bike for a long period of time on the street without my T5 vertebrae starting to really flare up. It's not a big deal when I'm at the track for 20 to 30 minutes at the time. You kind of quickly get on a session and get back off in a very aggressive position, but I can't really ride super sport bikes on the street for a long time anymore. So that's something to keep in mind if you jump back on the bike. If you are fully healed, you might still have some things flaring up. So if it's been weeks or even months, try to remember the basics and go from there. The absolute last thing you want to do is to revisit your crash site. Stay away, find somewhere else to ride and enjoy. It's a hobby and a great one at that. Try to have a planned route, a set time limit, be relaxed, but don't override for an hour or whatever you can handle, and don't be a squid, my dudes. The first time back on your bike is not the time to try to rip a mega dank nooner or to drag a knee, or even go full throttle, to be honest. You need to get used to being on a motorcycle again first. That being said, everyone has their own pace. If yours is going triple digits on your ride after your crash, well, be my guest. Number 7, don't lie to yourself. As a rider, it's really easy to talk to ourselves and convince ourselves about what we're really experiencing. The hardest thing to do is going to be to suck up your pride and admit that being on your sport bike for more than 20 minutes causes excruciating pains because of your crash, or that you can't firmly grasp the handles or grips because of nerve damage, or that you can't move your body the way you used to before the crash. You need to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and admit that things have affected you physically because of the crash. Don't say I got this when you don't. It's only going to be putting yourself in danger, especially if number 6 was an issue already. It's a passion and a hobby. We all understand that, but you shouldn't be putting yourself at risk because you experienced a crash or are now in denial about the residual physical effects that you feel. Don't lie to yourself about anything. Be honest with yourself and try to remove any ailments that you have and work from there. You may not be able to rip the twisties for hours anymore, but if you can at least make it out there and go once or twice, it's better than nothing. Number 8, take time off. Last on our list, 8 items? Weird. I thought I only did 7. The last item on our list is to take time off. If you feel that you need to do it, do it. I know when I bought my R3, all I wanted to do was ride, and ride. It can become very addicting. But after a crash, things can become very different. It's okay to take time off. No one is putting a limit on how soon you need to get back on the bike and start riding again. If you need to reflect, do so. If you need to figure out whether riding a sport bike, cruiser, touring bike, or anything else isn't for you, this would be the time to do it. In your time of reflecting, you might come to realize that instead of riding crotch rockets, you might want to go try an adventure bike or something like that. That's fine. A lot of riders come to that conclusion. Crashes at high speeds or those that are near fatal can lead riders to thinking this way. It's totally up to you. For others, we reflect on what's happened, took some time off, and then decided to prepare ourselves for the next ride. I think I speak for every rider here when I say that none of us want you to leave motorcycling, but as an unspoken rule, we as fellow riders understand if it's something you just can't keep doing. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Sorry it was a little bit more somber than typical Yammie Noob goofy fashion. How did you bounce back after you crash? I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments. As you all know, I've been in a couple crashes and it's not the easiest thing to do, but I tell you, it's a very, very powerful feeling to get back on the bike and keep doing the thing you love to do. Also, if you haven't yet, go to yammienoob.co and sign up to win one of our bikes. March 7th is the last day to enter, and you're not going to want to miss this one. Hit the link down below and check it out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Fact: in 1816, the French frigate Medusa ran around the coast of Africa. After surviving for only 4 days on a raft, the remaining crew resorted to cannibalism and murder as means of survival. Goodbye.